Hello, I'm Otto, and welcome to episode 26 of my Factorio 2.0 guide. So in the last episode, in the last video, did we really only put one of those? In the last episode, we set up electric motors. This is a little too dark. Let's clean this up a bit. Is this going to work? This should be fine. There, that's better. Okay, so in the last episode, we set up electric motors. In this episode, it's all about cleaning up the base, and we have a lot to discuss. We are prepping for bots. That's gonna be... I love the zigzag. We are prepping for bots, and we have a lot to discuss whenever it comes to our little worker buddies that are gonna be helping us out soon. So in episode 4, when we were mapping out a city block, I mentioned that there were a lot of things that I would be talking about later, and later is here, so we are going to be discussing them now. So let me grab a stack of these and a stack of these. We're gonna go over all of this. Everything bots. Let me put these on my bars. Okay, so the flashing, we're kind of gonna, did I grab some roboports? I did not. I need some roboports. So the flashing is an indicator that we are not, I did not mean to grab that many. We are not within the logistics network. So let's talk about what logistics are. So whenever I place this, you can see that these go away. I need this. I need some on my bars. Okay. So we put that in the orange section and the flashing goes away. We pick it up and move it. Even though they are in the green section, they are still within this kind of larger network. You can see they're still flashing. So these chests, all 5 variations, have to be within the orange section of the RoboPort. That is the logistics network, and we have this perfectly set up so that it is full coverage. So let's talk about that for a second. So what is a logistics network? So a logistics network is very similar to our circuit networks. We've been very careful, like we've only been doing these like small networks, like this is a network, this is a network. When we attach things with the red and green wiring, that is creating a network. So the logistics network is very similar, but think of it like Wi-Fi. The circuit network is LAN, the logistics network is Wi-Fi. There you go. I believe most things can be added to the logistics network. So even though this does not have any logistical access for the bots, other than it now being in the green and orange sections, which we'll get into in a minute. Most things I believe can be just straight up added, like even the belts can be added to the logistics network. By default, the roboports and the storage chests are all within the logistics network. And to a degree, you are part of the logistics network too. So let's talk about what the logistics network is. So there's kind of 2 areas of the network. You have areas that construction bots can deal with, and you have areas that logistics bots can deal with. There's 2 different types of bots, construction and logistics, and they both have very different tasks. Some of them, like there's some things that overlap, or some things that one can do that the other can't, that you would think that was in the opposite direction. We'll get into all that. So the green section on the outside of the RoboPort is largely the domain of the construction robots. Anything that is in this area that needs to be constructed, like placed or deconstructed, like let's say that we deconstructed these trees, the construction robots would be able to perform those tasks in any area within the green section of the network. So how do the networks connect? Well, you can kind of see this yellow line is trying to attach it to this roboport. So if I were to go out here and move just beyond, you can see that that yellow line is no longer connected and that it has been severed. So technically, if they are not connected like this, placing this, we now have a network over here and a network over here. If we hit L, we can see that here. We have a logistics network. Whoops. We can kind of see the two different networks. Why was that there? No. All right. It is not being. Okay. Yeah. Let's just go to remote view. So, this is one network and this is a separate network. I don't know why it's really wanting to. Oh, I think one of them just ran out of power. No. Okay. Anyways, moving along. So if we do, it did. Let me use these then. These will be connected to power. As we start placing some of these roboports, you do want to make sure they have power. So, now that one has power. And this one does not have power, although they do kind of, you can see in the bottom right there, the electricity, they do kind of start with a small amount when you place them. So now these are connected, and anything that we connect that has the dotted lines is going to be within that network. So like I said, the green section is for the construction bots. They're largely placing things and picking things up off the ground. The orange section is for the logistics bots. So what is the purpose of logistics bots? The logistics bots, their sole purpose is to basically transfer product from one storage to another storage, and that includes me. So as of unlocking robots, when we open our inventory, we now have this new section in the middle, and this is the domain of the logistics bots. We can tell them, hey, do me a favor, can you make sure that I keep 1,000 belts in my inventory? And we can scroll over it and see that there are X amount on the way, X amount in storage, and how much our satisfaction is. So we have 259 out of 1,000 requested. We can also tell it, I only want 1,000. So that'll put 2 numbers on here. Nice. And the 2 numbers indicate that not only do I want at least 1,000, but I don't want any more than 1,000. We could say 2,000. That'll say I want at least 1,000, no more than 2,000. They will not bring you more than 2,000, but if you just happen to be picking stuff up off the ground, that will be included in that. And at 2,000, they will then start to come and remove stuff from your inventory. As long as you stay within the orange section of the network. So when we are talking about these being separate like this, technically, since this is now its own network, we can see kind of outlined. The bots have to be within this network and have to have access to items within this network to perform actions within this network. You can see that there is some overlap. If there was a bot in this network, it could do something to this roboport, and vice versa. Any bot in this network could do something to this roboport, but it will not, since they do not connect, it will not say, oh, well, I can go pick up something from a chest if the chest was placed over here. It needs to have that connection. So if you're having issues with robots not doing exactly what you want, that's probably a big aspect of it. Once these are connected now, this is the network is complete. So let's talk a little bit more about, I guess before we get into specific functions of the bots, let's talk about the storage. So this is a passive provider. Its sole purpose is to allow access to the bot network. So you can see these little circular things on top. This is to allow bots to pull things out of the chest, and in some cases place things back in. So we're going to talk about the removal aspect of the bots. So anytime you have something in a chest, let's say that we had electric mining drill. The construction robots, if they were tasked with placing electric mining drills, construction bots would come collect the mining drill and place the mining drill down, assuming that it was within the green section of the network. They also perform tasks in the orange, so just assume that orange is like, you know, central logistics hub, and construction is kind of like your just slightly exterior, whatever. You get the idea. Construction can place things anywhere in the green or orange, and logistics can only operate in the orange. A construction robot, if we had, for instance, this, it can only be built on resources. I should have used something different. Let's do assembling machines. Let's say I had a ghost over here. A construction robot would then come grab the item here and then place it here and return to a roboport for charging. Nothing can be placed into this chest by a robot. Only, well, okay, there's a very specific situation. If I could like force, whoops. Can I only do this remote view? I might not be able to do that to these. Let's. I'm pretty sure that I can tell it. Oh, there it is. So I can tell them to put things here, but I have to directly like initiate the process of them doing that. But that's not a normal function. That's something that's new with Factorio 2.0. So if I had assembling machines in here, and again, when the ghost needs to be placed, that's the performing task of the construction bots. However, if we had assembling machines in a chest in a passive provider like this, and I requested more assembling machines, this would be the task of the logistics bot. So the logistics bot would then go pick up item, bring item to me, assuming that I'm within the orange section of the network and I have requested them. This is largely the biggest differences between the two. There are some exceptions when like different things happen. So just kind of to reiterate, construction bots place things, logistics bots move things. That's not to say that construction bots can also move things, but we'll get into that shortly. Let's just get into that now. So the only time that a construction bot can remove this item and place it into, say, this chest, the only time that they can move items from a chest to a chest is if you are deconstructing that item. The construction bots will come remove everything inside and then take them to a nearby chest, and that is basically the only time that they do that. They can also place things into chests, like whenever I had that little force, like let's say this. Nope. Map view. Let's say that I told them to put 50 of these into here, and you can, that was left click. You can also right click to add singles. If I had performed that and said, hey, somebody go do that, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 90% sure that this is also a construction bot task. It would seem like it should be a logistics bot task, but it is not. Okay, so that's passive provider. It opens up access to its contents. Opens up access of its contents to the logistics network for both construction bots and logistics bots. Let's talk about this one. This one is a storage chest. It largely performs basically the exact same functions as the red passive provider chest. However, the difference is that instead of only being able to remove items, robots can also place items into this. So this is a two-way thing. They can both remove from and place into these chests. This filter down here allows us to say, you know what, I only want you to place wooden chests in this box. Now this is filtered for boxes. And again, these are bot access. This does not have anything to do with inserters. So if we had inserters sitting here telling, like pulling from a machine making, I don't know, green circuits, and it was placing green circuits into here, it would still do that, and it would keep placing green circuits into here. But the robots would say, nope, we're only putting wooden chests in here because this is the filter that we have for it. If you don't filter, then you will have a situation where anything could end up in these if they were unfiltered. In general, the bots are both like really smart and kind of stupid at the same time. And I know that's, you know, oxymoron, whatever. They tend to try to prefer putting the same things. They prefer like with like. So once they start putting coal into a chest, you will largely see that only coal will continue to fill that. They will not start putting things into other or mixing things into chests until they kind of don't really have a choice. So now this one's got coal, this one's got iron. Well, now if they have copper, they got to pick one. And in general, them picking one is whatever's the path of least resistance. So you'll find that there are a lot of things in this game that prefer the path of least resistance. Robots are one. Trains are definitely another. They prefer the path of least resistance. And biters. Biters also prefer the path of least resistance. They will not just wander out of their way just because, or like whatever is the most direct route. Most things in this game want to take the most direct route. So as we have gone through, we have placed all of these steel chests down as steel chests with a specific reason. One, it has the same storage capacity as these chests. But two, our intent is at some point we will be replacing, we're going to do that now. We're going to do that in this video. Our intent is to replace all of these steel chests with the storage chests so that logistics bots can have access to them, and construction, or bots in general can have access to them. So you can see it's blinking. We're not within a network. So let's get this guy set up for a network. And for some reason we do not have, I do not know how that ended up not being there, but now it is no longer blinking. That means we have access to the logistics network, the orange section. So we are going to be placing yellow containers on all of these because we want to have a situation where if we place a bunch of something and we need them to be removed after, we want the bots to prefer to put them back into the storage units that they are being crafted into. So that means that with every single box that we place, we also have to go to the logistics filter and filter in the item that we want. There's two ways that you can do that. One, you can click on the filter and you can find the item, or two, I don't want to make more, so I'm just gonna put extra in here. You could pick up the item, place it in the logistics, and return the item. That will perform the same function. If there's a situation where, like, let's say that we had this and something was going to go here in the future, we do not want to upgrade any steel chests that either have something that we don't want yet. Like you don't want to have any situation where you have any unfiltered storage chests out here in our mall. Everything needs to be filtered. So, and here's going to be an example where we will not have access to beacons. Beacons would normally be down here. Obviously no access to them, so we're going to just use the Factoriopedia. So we're going to alt left click and go into our production. Beacons are down here. We're going to hit Q, which is the pipette. We're going to close this, and you could close this window. You could just click out of the window, and then we're going to put that in the filter. That is how you do items that you do not have access to. So we're gonna go through, I don't need that. We're gonna go through and just kind of update all of these real quick. And set filters. I would rather not pick up the items. Like, obviously if you're a new player, you're not going to know where a lot of these items are in your list, but you know, those of us that have been playing for a while, we obviously know where a lot of those are. And I prefer not to make any more than I have to. If I were to pick up those items, they would continue to craft more. So yeah, and this one was the blue. We'll get into the let me just talk about it now. It's probably better if I just keep this all kind of relevant. So we talked about passive provider. This one opens up access to the logistics network. Storage allows in and out transfer. This one is the requester chest. So I can actually ghost this to kind of show you the tasks that it, and we'll do this one too. This one is easy to understand. These two are a little bit different. We can ghost them in to kind of show you the performance aspects of these, I suppose. So the blue requester chest, when you open it up, it has this extra section down here. This allows us to specifically request in a certain amount of something. So if we want 100 belts, this will act exactly like our requesting up here. You can request a bunch of different, actually I think you can request almost any number of items. Like this will just, you can just add to this. And I was doing this line by line, but if you added something, let's say lights here, every time you fill up the rightmost section, it will give you another drop down, but only if you do that section. So if we did like this one here, it will not drop it down, this will not drop it down, and it won't drop it down until we get to the last section. So if you just wanted to open up a bunch of sections, then put your items on the right side. So the purpose of something like this would be like, if we wanted to, and I'll show you a little trick here too. Let's say that we wanted to just make standalone substations. We can request in these items, so we can request in steel. Here we can request in copper cable. How much you request is largely up to you, and request in red circuits. It starts default 1 stack size. You can do that, or if it's, you know, traveling really far away, which honestly the farther away it travels, the least efficient it is, and you should probably figure out a better way to do it. But another thing that you can do is we can shift right click the building and shift left click into the passive provider, and that will automatically give us a kind of predetermined amount that it thinks that we should be getting. Everything within the recipe can be transferred into that. Shift right, shift left. Other tasks or other things that it can perform. You have to specifically say if you want to request from buffer chest. Well, what is a buffer chest? This is a buffer chest. It is basically the exact same thing as the requester chest. The difference is that the requester chest, once something is in here, cannot be taken out via normal functions unless you have trash unrequested or if you deconstruct it. Trash unrequested just means that if I request in 100 wood, I'm only going to have 100 wood. If there's any more than 100, they will remove the extra. That might not sound like that's that great, but it has saved me a lot. For instance, in the DLC, if you have a little bit of a spoiler, if you have an item that can spoil, sorry, that was a bad pun. If you have an item that can spoil, you want to request in that item, but you don't want the spoilage to build up, so you can just hit trash unrequested, and then every time an item spoils, the bots will come in and remove the spoilage. just like that. The buffer chest, however, allows you to say bring in let's say a bunch of items, and it opens its contents up to requesters, and it can also request in. So I guess really technically you could just use buffer chests, but to, like, if you wanted something, if you wanted the requester function but also wanted bots to access its contents, like it's a very weird situation. We almost never use buffer chests. There are very few exceptions that I have had to use a buffer chest, and it's not really, even though I've used it, it was kind of like intentional use. It wasn't like I have to use this. It was just kind of like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna see if I can make a use out of this. These are the most useless ones though. We largely don't use the buffer chests, the green ones, or the purple ones, which we have not talked about yet. So the purple chest is called an active provider chest. So this one is a passive provider, this one is an active provider. The difference is that the passive provider opens up its contents to the network and says, hey, you can come get something out of here if you want, to the bots. The purple one, the active provider, says you have to come get this out now. So anything that gets dumped into an active provider, the bots will prioritize getting those items out of that chest. There's not too many uses for this. Another one that other players like to do is when they have limited space and they have to get stuff out like this. When you bring in something from another planet and you want to make sure that there's room for other materials coming in, you might put like a row of active providers and say whatever comes into this, just get it out. You largely need filters, and you want to make sure there's very few situations where we use the active. So the ones that we use the most are definitely the blue requesters, the red providers, and the yellow storage. Okay, moving along. We have a lot to do still and not a lot of time to do it, so I'm going to just hammer these out super fast. Oh, I didn't talk about something else. No, we got to talk about this. So we've created these networks, right? These circuit networks. So whenever we click on this, this is showing that we are connected to the circuit network. You can also connect to the logistics network. So what is the difference? I can connect here and I can say, hey, I want to enable if active provider is less than 50. So this is, whoops. Oh. I don't know why it does that. So this is functionally, effectively kind of the same thing as this. The difference is that one is LAN and one is Wi-Fi, right? This is saying if this chest contains at least 50, or enable if active provider is less than 50 within this chest. This one down here is saying enable if active provider is less than 50 within the logistics network. So kind of to use an example over here with the grenades, we connected all of this together. We connected these two inserters with the chests, and the chests are connected together. And we told them enable if grenades are less than 200. So this connection, we have 100 in here and we have 100 in here. So 200 together, and they both stop working. The logistics network is similar to that, except it doesn't have to be connected via wire. We could have had one grenade being made over here and one grenade being made down here. It wouldn't matter as long as they are connected within the same logistics network. So we, I have used this myself plenty of times. So you could, as an example, tell this guy, I only want you to craft if there are less than 50 active providers in this chest. And I'm just using active provider as an example. We would never make more than 50 of these. I want you to put I want you to enable if this is less than 50, but I also want you to enable if this is less than 250. Okay, well, how does that work? Well, if we had multiple machines crafting the same thing, we could tell them, I only want you to put X amount in your container via circuit network, or I only want you to create up to a certain amount in the network. There's not really a lot of situations where we do that with machines, with buildings and stuff like that, but you could very well do that with materials. So one situation that I had was I was in the DLC, I was on Fulgora, I had access to a lot of lubricant because of the mechanics on that planet, and oh, I do not have visual. And I needed a lot of electric motors, so I had requester chests set up to bring in engines that were being crafted farther away, and what was it? We needed green circuits, I believe. So I had all of this being brought in, and to export it, I needed several assemblers that were making electric motors. So I set them up to all be connected to the logistics network and told them, hey, only make more if there's not at least, like, I don't know, I've had like 400 or 500 in the network or something like that. So, you know, that's just something to know and pay attention to. So, okay, we need to bang this out really quick. This video is pretty long already. It's we're at 31 minutes and we still have to build a battery build. The battery build won't take long, so nope. That pipette. And we have substations, yes. What was this one? The selector combinator. We do not have that yet. Wait, do we? No, we don't. We're just gonna do like one row at a time as I put down a second row. Okay. Let's see. We need to, yeah, we're gonna get batteries going. So this was the quality modules in the DLC, so we're gonna leave that as a steel chest. We can always wait till later, to upgrade that one. So we're just gonna leave that for now. Constant combinator, medium power poles. And let's do this side also. And we'll probably come back to the other ones. Okay, well, we didn't even really need to filter that one. Three of these, that is the splitter, yellow belt, yellow underground. Red splitter, red belt, whoops. Belt, red underground. Oh my goodness. I will improve my aim one of these days. Yeah, right. Okay, this would be blue, so pipette that in. And this was blue, whoops, blue belt. And blue splitter. I missed it. No. There. Red inserter, yellow inserter. Also yellow inserter. Radar, miner. Blue inserter, green inserter. Okay, so we're just gonna leave that there for now. Now we do need to start placing our robot logistics. We need, like, everything that has this flashing, all this stuff that we need access to, definitely needs roboport. So when you start creating the roboports, you want to grab I usually grab like 20 to 30. 10 is fine too. Just you want to make a path towards where you are creating your robots. So we're going to be creating robots on the top side of the bus, next to the batteries. So we're just going to head and connect a network towards that direction. I should also say, I suppose, just real quick, the robots, like I said before, they try to take the path of least resistance. So if you were to have a U-shaped section on the map, so you had roboports all connected together here, connected together here, and connected together here, but you only had like a U-shaped section where this, you can see that this is wrapping around like this. You only had a U-shaped section like this, but you had a bot that wanted to perform a task that started here and ended over here. They would not travel down the logistics network path and then back up. They would try to move from here to over here. Now in the Factorio 1.0, this was a huge problem because you could end up with a situation where a bot literally endlessly forever tried to get over here, would run out of power, and then come back to the next closest roboport that they already passed. Now it will try to continue on forward and get to the next closest roboport in its forward direction, or at least that's what we've apparently been told. Oh, and I need to see if there's any biters up there very, very soon. And we're probably gonna get attacked, but whatever. Yeah, so they will try to take the path of least resistance, even if it takes them forever. So just be aware of that. It's always better to have more connections than not enough. Okay, I do not have, I think I need more chemical plants. So let's, we're just gonna bang this out really quick. Let me grab some belts and some chemical plants, and we are gonna drop the battery build super quick. Let's talk about what we need for batteries. So for batteries, we need iron plate, copper plate, and sulfuric acid. And grab a stack. What else did I say I needed? Belts. So the battery build, it's gonna be very familiar. Basically, like all of the other things that we have that need a fluid input and a solid input and a solid output, like these, not the sulfur. It's our batteries are gonna look basically exactly like this. We need iron and copper coming in. We need a coal coming in here. We need sulfuric acid coming in, which we need petroleum gas here, and we have a solid export. So we could actually, honestly, just copy this, because that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna copy this, and we're gonna paste it on our batteries, or excuse me, where we're placing our batteries. So that's in our copy, so we can just Control V later. We're gonna place the batteries here. Let's get our measuring stick out. 3, Control V to figure out where we're gonna place them, and kind of have them in a central location, and Shift to get those down. Now, obviously, we are not doing that. We need batteries and the chemical plants. And I think we're gonna do like 20. Let's do 24. So this is 8, 16. So let's just go 4 more. We're gonna do that. We're gonna remove the lights and the power because we have access to. I'm replacing the small power pole with substation. We have the new substation. And I believe this should fit perfectly. Yes. Nice. All right, let's just get all of these in. We're at 39 minutes. This is a long episode. But like I said, we had a lot to discuss. And if you're, still confused by some aspects of the bots, please feel free to leave a comment, and I will get back with you as soon as I can. I don't think there's that much more, like there's not really much discussion that we have or need with the bots. Okay. So in the episode after this, so robots are quite the power-hungry creatures. Oh no. I missed one. I missed two. I missed all of them? Wait, what? What is going on? Robots are quite power hungry, so in the next episode... Yeah, sure, we'll just do that. In the next episode, I believe we are going to be putting our robots to work. Yes, definitely putting them to work. I wanted to clean up some of the base, but we're probably just gonna have to hold off for a bit. So I was gonna put this is where the batteries are gonna go. They're going to come down, let's say from here. What was this? Sulfur? We no longer need sulfur. But we need batteries in the backward direction if we want to put lasers. And we definitely need batteries in the forward position for flying robot frames. So let's just assume that that's eventually going to go to lasers. This is going forward. Okay, we need copper and iron in both of these slots. Shouldn't be too difficult. Those are the easiest ones to deal with, even though they are the farthest away from where we need them. What if we did... I could just do something similar that we do with the coal and like the smelters. Do I want to do that? We could. I've never done it before, but I don't know why I've never thought to try. Like, that's exactly what we do for the smelting for the furnaces. And that would make getting these in way easier. So let's just say that the one on the one side, these are gonna be like right up against each other. So this one would be copper. And this one would be iron. Priority right, copy paste, copy paste. Yeah, that'll work. Nothing wrong with that. And then we will get, let's say this and this. What was this? Sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid was on the top, so that was here. I shouldn't do that in that direction. We need to use this one here. Let's go find the sulfuric acid. Oh, there it is. Perfect. We didn't even have to go that far. 35. We should have enough to get us there. I have 4 regular pipes left. That should be a non-issue. Where Where would these line up? Because that just messed up our system. We don't want to have a lot of these down for the bots. I'm only kind of repositioning them for the sake of things lining up. There. I don't know why I do that either. I could just deconstruction planar all of them. And the rock. And we have batteries. Yes. So in the next episode, we are going to set up for bots. A lot of these ghosts, the bots will fill in, so that's both a good thing and a bad thing. We kind of want them to fill it in, but at the same time, it's going to be a lot of resources, so the bots are quite power hungry, so I think in the next episode, we are going to get bots. Oh, we need some more grenades because we're going to need a bunch of areas cleared out here. Well, I missed them. We're not ready for this side yet. We have some plans, but nothing major, nothing yet. We do need all of this cleared out though. Okay, so in the next episode we are going to finally get to our bots. I know, it's been a long time coming. I think we're gonna take the extra time. I think in the next episode we're also gonna we're gonna make a solar array. The bots are pretty power hungry. We are probably fine with power for now, but let's see, what are we at? What is the most we've used in the last 10 hours? 72. Okay, so that's gonna be somewhere in here. Oh yeah, we definitely need some more power. Okay, so we're good on batteries. Okay, so 47 minutes. All right. Let's look at some research real quick. We can do advanced combinators. Let's go with stuff that is actually going to be immediately relevant. There's nothing here. We're going to play around with military stuff soon, so let's get some of this. Oh yes, we definitely need the tank. We need the tank. Explosive. Do I want to do this? What do I want to do yet? Oh, we forgot the best part. Oh my gosh. Let's pick up some batteries. We can look at 1, 2, 3. We can hand make some batteries. Now our night vision will just permanently stay on. The best part. Alright, so we're gonna right click and put the battery in there. Woohoo! Solar panels are boosting that. They're gonna start filling all of these, and then we can have battery supply at night, or night vision at night, at constant. Finally, after so many visual issues. Okay. So we're going to end it there. In the next video, we are finally going to be placing bots. So we are going to be building some robot frames, and we are going to be crafting both the construction bots and logistics bots. And I think if we have time, we're going to make a solar array. So on that note, I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.